Hi, my name is Phil. I live in the Netherlands and I have an update for you on what happened after the elections we had in November. But before we get to that, I want to tell you a few things. There are a few changes that I'm going to make. This channel is going to be the news channel, which I give updates when there is any news, and I want to make a separate channel. I already might have changed the name of this channel, and I'm going to make another channel for specials. And with that channel, I'm not looking at the here and now. I try to find out where we are coming from, and the first specials will be about the four parties who are now coming together to see whether they can form a coalition. And I think it can be really interesting to look into one party in a special and look from their eyes what is happening. And I think it will also show us where we are coming from. What is the direct past which brought us in those dynamics, where we have seen that the establishment is now, well, really gone, and we have made space for a more far-right party, the most far-right party we have here in the Netherlands, the PVV. And looking from the perspective of the four different parties, I think I will be able to make some sort of reconstruction of the last 15, maybe even 20 years. So far I find it very interesting, and maybe you are with me or not, that's your choice, of course. Okay, I first will give you an update on where I think I left you, and maybe I have been telling you everything already, but well, then it is just a way of getting back into a rhythm after Christmas and after New Year. By the way, Happy New Year. Okay, well, the Scout came up with a report. If you don't know what the Scout is or what report I'm talking about, please watch my weekly update. I only have one, and it's not weekly, it's just when I think, okay, I have enough material now, it might be a good time to make a summary of it. And that's also for people who don't want to know every detail about what is happening at the moment. Okay, back to the report of the Scout. He advised that the four parties, PVV, VVD, NSC and BBB, should start looking into forming a coalition. The Scout's time already had been extended with a second week where he has been talking to duos, and now he came up with an extra very new phase, which I would say is Scout phase number 3, although formally it is we are now in the information gathering. Information sounds a bit weird in English, and therefore he has become an informateur. That informateur could have been somebody else, but in this case, the scout and the informateur are the same person. So, what is going to happen till, say, about February? And it was a period of 6 weeks where they are going to look at 3 different topics. The first one is the Constitution. The second one is the content, and the third one is the structure. When I'm talking about the Constitution is very important for the NSC. They have seen people starting to distrust the government and has seen how that distrust has been growing, and for good reasons. So they are the party of good governing, and that means that the Constitution is really important to them, and now even more because the PVV, that most far-right party on the right, far-right party on the right, the PVV has made a lot of proposals who are not constitutional or who are not in agreement with international guidelines. And Pieter Omtzigt, the leader of the NSC, really wants to talk about that. And only when everybody agrees with each other they go to the next phase within this phase Scout 3, and that is the content. And they are going to touch on it lightly, as in what kind of obstacles are we seeing and can we overcome them. And then there will be talks about the structure, and that can mean anything, because if you count the seats of those 4 parties, you will have a majority in the parliament. Even only 3 parties is enough to get some majority. But the VVD already has said that they don't want to be part of the coalition, but that they want to support it in one way or the other, because that can mean anything. You can make it official with some sort of contract, but you can also say, well, on a lot of points we do agree and we will support you in that. Whatever that may mean then, because yeah, that's a bit unclear if you don't write it down in some sort of agreement. The NSA already has said that they don't want a minority coalition of PVV, BBB and the NSA. So they're not. It looks like we are going to talk about a minority coalition, although I think that the PVV, and that's my thought, would like to see a majority coalition, because I think that is the best way for them to push their agenda. I think they want it on details, and that is something typically Dutch. When such an agreement, a coalition agreement, is made, it is very hard to have any real discussion in the chamber anymore, because, well, I'm going to support you on this point when you are going to support me on that point, and when it is in detail written out, it means that, yeah, what is there to discuss when you are a majority in the parliament? There will also be a difference with the NSC, who wants it quite differently. They would like to see experts as ministers, not really coming from a political background, who are going to propose laws on the basis of their expertise that can be discussed in the parliament, which actually means that anything can happen. You will bring back real discussion. So they are also not against a minority coalition or a majority coalition, only on the main topics and not too much into detail. They also say it is unconstitutional to tell people from your party you need to vote this way. That's actually not possible. The seat is personal. It's not belonging to the party. So those four parties are going to talk till the beginning of February about those three things, in which the constitution is go or no go. When they can't reach agreement on that, it means that they will part and there will be no coalition, or not with one or two of the parties who are now sitting at the table. Then we get a discussion on the content, mostly looking at the big obstacles, I suppose, and then about the structure. And if that goes well, then they go to a situation where the informateur is going to support the negotiations between those four parties. And that can take up till a few months. But of course, a few things already has been spoken of, so it might be shorter this time. It's just another way of handling this process. But because it is so complicated, that is why the Scout has proposed this extra phase. Okay, so that is about the Scout and what they are doing in the moment. But the news of the day is that Geert Wilders of the PVV has been withdrawing 3 proposals he made some years ago. Those proposals are focused on the Islam. They are unconstitutional, as we will find out, because shortly I'll try to get through those proposals. I need to say before I get to that there are still proposals left which are still unconstitutional. I don't know what he wants to do with that, but I think when it comes to the NSA, more will need to happen. But I do think it is meant from Geert Wilders as a gesture to smooth the conversations between the 4 parties. Okay, so 3 laws that he has been withdrawing, and the first one has to do with the expression of being Muslim. With that I mean going to a mosque, being part of a school where the Islam is taught as a religion, or even owning a Quran is forbidden. And he would like to see pretty high jail sentences. For instance, if you have a Quran, you can go to jail for 5 years if it is up to Geert Wilders. This law never got a majority in the chamber, so he's now scraping it. The second one has to do with having 2 nationalities. Some people in the Netherlands have 2 nationalities, have 2 passports. And when you become Dutch, you can't even get rid of your old nationality, because I know this is true for Moroccans. If you are born there as a Moroccan, then you will die as a Moroccan. And yeah, that's the law there, which means that they never can lose their nationality. So they might have 2 passes. But Geert Wilders is saying, if you have 2 passes, you're not really Dutch. So, or maybe we can't trust you to be really Dutch, so you shouldn't be voting. And that concerns, I think, that will affect about 1.3 million people, which is quite a bit. 18 million are living in the Netherlands, and then I'm also counting babies and children who can't vote yet. It also includes that you can't get a job as, for instance, a mayor of a town, or become part of the parliament, or things like that. The discussion started years ago with 1 or 2, I don't remember clearly anymore, but a few people who had 2 nationalities and were part of the parliament. So that one has been withdrawn as well. And the last one, I think that one has been proposed, or he started to propose it when there was still a caliphate or something like it, in Iraq and Syria. And some people in the Netherlands, as also in other countries, went to fight for the jihad. And when those people were coming back, that was a bit of a problem, because what are you going to do with them? So big discussions took place here in the Netherlands, and the proposal Geert Wilders made was that when they came back, they should be locked up for a half year's time without trial. The problem is that sometimes it might be pretty obvious who has been fighting for the jihad, but that's not always the case. Not everyone is in the front lines, and what exactly were they doing there, and what was their thinking in that moment. And I find this very tricky, because if you open the door to something, then the next step will become easier, as the next step will become easier, as the next step will become easier. And then I start to get images of Guantanamo Bay. In itself, I think the proposal itself is tricky. What has been decided, and I should need to look up when it exactly was and which parties has been doing so, but what has been decided is that people who are coming back and who have a double nationality, that they will lose their Dutch nationality. And here we see that when you do something like that, which to me sounds a bit weird, probably unconstitutional, because when you only have one nationality, they can't take away your nationality. So you're making a difference between different groups, and that sounds like discrimination to me. But that is now, I think, law in the Netherlands, and it isn't just a jihad, but when you are involved in terrorist activities. But now Geert Wilders want to take the next step and say that everyone who is criminal and has a double nationality will lose their Dutch nationality. And that's where you can see that you are getting into, when you open the door, if it's only a little bit, that door might widen, might get more open. And that's always the problem with these kind of things. And that's why I'm not in favor. I understand the argument of protecting the Dutch society. I do understand that one, but not at all costs. And I think we already went too far by taking away Dutch nationality because a Dutchman became a terrorist. I think that if somebody has become Dutch and we have accepted them in our national family, he or she is our problem. That's how I feel about it. Why would you make somebody a Dutchman when you are not willing to take the responsibility for that? Then it doesn't mean anything, does it? Okay, that's something maybe to think about. You might disagree with me, and that's of course fine with me. The more discussion, the better it is. Because I think that is what we need to do, is we need to start talking again with each other. And I think that the right has highlighted things that the so-called leftists, of which I am one, didn't want to really talk about or think about, because with the feeling like, well, he might have something there, but then I need to start to think about discrimination or other difficult situations, and so let's just say you can't discriminate. Taking the easy way out. Okay, that is what I had for today. Well, let me know if you have an opinion, what you think of the ideas. This channel will become, or is already, called, I think I'm going to call it Dutch politics, not Dutch elections, and then news. And the other one, Dutch politics specials, I suppose. Okay, well, I wish you a good day, and I hope this was informative for you. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, great. And I hope to see you next time. Okay, bye.